Welcome to episode 29 of the Out on Loan podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeffrey Canova, joined by my fellow right here in the Big Three. The Big Three would be me, Isaac, Kieran, and then obviously my co-host, my lovely friend, Richard Chargy. Um, Episode 29, boys. I can't believe we're in the 29th episode, and we got the 30th coming up hopefully this Wednesday if everyone's fully ready to go. And I just want to say thank you. So I just can't wait for the 30th episode to come out, which is insane that we've done it in this amount of time. Um, Man, shout out to all our people out there who have been listening and all. We see your comments, guys. We see them. We see your interesting comments and your debates and your trash talk, but we appreciate it, man. We
I
love
would
it.
say they're more than interesting. I think people just don't like our takes as of now. I think that's the easier
Oh
way to
no,
put
I
it.
mean, hey, look, it says a lot when they come back and they start, just you know, giving out their opinions that are against our opinions. But for today's episode, we do have a little bit of FA Cup recap, a little bit of league recaps here and there with Serie A and La Liga. And the main chunk of our episode today will be our predictions for the UCL round of 16. It's that time now, boys. It's that time where we get to see the biggest robberies, the greatest moments, the most engaging of takes of all time after people overreact after one leg or two legs or a final. But you know how it is, UCL baby. I'm excited that we're here now. We've been waiting for so long. I know we had the group stages. I know we had the round of 32 or the playoffs, as they like to say. But now it's officially that time. The sun's out. Springtime here. Let's get it. But before we move on, we'll just do a little bit of FA Cup talk. FA Cup. Oof. Man, a lot of conversations came out from the last few games. And I think I'll start off with this one game, right? Which will be Arsenal versus Mansfield Town. Max Dowman had, you know how it is on social media, man. Whenever a big team has like these young up and coming talents, debates start coming up. The highlight reels gets posted on Twitter, on TikTok, and then we're putting into these kids into these uncomfortable conversations like, oh yes, he's the greatest 16-year-old of all time. Yes, he should be a guaranteed starter. Yes, this, that, blah, 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 all that type of stuff, right? But I will say Arsenal does have a special player in this kid, man. 16, I think he just turned 16 this year, or this season, I should say. And man, is he a talent. I don't know if you guys got to see any of his highlights or aware of his game. I know he's like an attacking midfielder in a way / right winger. But I don't know, any comments on his game. I don't know, what are you guys' thoughts on him? Because I'll give my take on him real quick. But I'm not sure if you guys have seen. Are you guys any like familiar with his game as well? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I knew when he burst onto the scene earlier this season that he was like really hyped up. Arsenal fans really liked what they saw from him. I know he missed a couple months. I think it was because of injury, so he's just returning now from I don't know what kind of injury it was, but against Mansfield, he did look really good. Now I know that's not the best team Arsenal are going to play this year, but his dribbling, his one-on-one ability against defenders, his playmaking too, he looked really, really good. I mean, it wasn't for their goalie. He could have had a couple goals, to be honest with you. But he does look good. I will say, though, kind of like you touched on earlier, it's important not to overhype him because I've seen that, at least with United, we tend to overhype our youngsters throughout either like Rashford or Garnacho or Mainu. So at least for Arsenal, it's definitely important not to overhype him. The good thing is, though, that Arsenal are such a good team that they don't have to like play him for 90 minutes every single game and burn him out. They can kind of ease him into the team and kind of let him naturally develop instead of forcing him to play when he's really not comfortable with it. But I think he's in good hands. If Arsenal keep this up, I think he could really be developed and mentored to be a good player for them. But I wouldn't compare him to like, Lamine Yamal, for instance, just yet. I think that's a bit much.
yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna take the floor here for a minute. I mean, we as a soccer community or fan base, right? We love the sport. We need to stop comparing these young kids to players, to greats or future greats that have proven on the biggest stage, right? Lamine Yamal, Mbappe, Ronaldo, well, not even Ronaldo, but more like Messi when he came onto the stage. These are players that you knew from the start, like, these are going to be world special players because they capitalize on their moments and stuff like that. But what I've seen a lot throughout this season specifically is, and it speaks on Lamine's greatness. We need to stop doing this. We need to stop comparing any little youngster to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, and I know I'm a Madrid fan here. I know I'm like glazing, but I don't care. This kid is just out of a different universe. As we saw in the weekend, he scored that amazing goal to give Barca that 1-0 win over Athletic Bilbao. And over the last 3 seasons, he's just gotten better and better as a goal scorer, as a playmaker, and just physically as well. He's an anomaly. This is a player that you will not see like every 5 years or year, whatever it may be. This kid is an anomaly for the things that he's doing at that age, his abilities, his IQ, his quality, his swagger too, which is the one thing that I have religiously given props to him. Is like just the swag that he brings to the game. We need to stop doing this where we're comparing because they're not him. They're not him. He's already a player that's proven it on the biggest stage in the Euros. He's done it in Champions League games as well, even though he didn't win. But I think part of it is part to his team just not performing as well. And then when you compare the player, it's just a different game. Like this kid is already at 19, 20 potentially, just one of the greatest creative players that we've ever seen. The stats back it, the moments back it, and then you also see in the sense of when you watch him play, you're like, man, how can he just pull it off? And he just feels like an inevitable player. These young kids, as much as I love them, like Lenny Carl, Max, Hendrik, for example, or any kid that comes up from the academy, just be patient with them. Don't compare them because you're going to ruin your players. And you've seen it with United. I think some Madrid fans get away with it as well. And you just let them flourish. Let them be the players that they are. Not everyone's a Lamine. Not everyone's a Messi. Not everyone's like going to be that level of a player. You just got to hold your hands up, appreciate greatness, and then just root for your players as well to get better as a potential superstar as well. I don't know.
I mean, it's interesting. I think I think the easy answer is like we've been saying it on the panel the whole time is kind of cut that comparison game, Jeff. I mean, you brought it to like the bigger picture of soccer and the sport as a whole. I think it's something that can just be applied to just any sport in general. I know it's kind of ironic with the big three guys being sports media majors, but I think it's sort of the effect of like the sports mediafication of like what's happened with the industry. I'm in the gamification of the industry. I think this can be a larger time where, I think us as journalists, as content creators, as media member, whatever you want to label us, need to sort of take a real look into sort of how we operate and sort of the styles and how we talk, what goes viral and what we make as content. Now, some of that is obviously out of our hands. I think virality is something you're always attaining and it's something that you got to tap into. It's not so much, there's not a given formula for that, but, and it's not something I think that's as easy. It's more of a deciding factor. That's what I think I'm trying to say. You might decide the content you make off of what goes viral and what not. And that's always been sort of these hot takes, these comparisons, all that sort of stuff. And I think you brought up a good point. I mean, Yamal was one where not only is it Barca, not only is it a 17-year-old, he came into that team and was so not unplayable. I'm trying to think of the correct phrasing here. Was so good that they couldn't remove him out of the lineup. Like there was not Barca couldn't afford to take Yamal regardless of his age out of the lineup. And obviously we've seen the player he's grown into. Now, like Kieran hit on with Dowman and large squad, he's not performing now. He did come back from injury, but he wasn't performing up until that, even to where Arsenal had to play him every game. Even Carl was one where it was a mix of the Musiala injury. He had to play. So there's a lot of times where his good form mixed in with just having to play saw him on that pitch. But they're all different players. They're all unique. And it goes to football. How many times do you see a first-round pick compared to, I think now Justin Jefferson's the easy one for any wide receiver. You're going to get a lot of Jackson Smith and Jigba. You have your quarterbacks and how they're compared. And how we've learned, and even in the psyche for the athlete, how damaging that is. When you come in as a 16, 17-year-old, I mean, we're all, 22, 23 on this panel? Imagine if for the last 7 years of your life, you were compared to the best person within your industry. I mean, I'll take Jeff and Kieran because they would Bonaventure grads, Woj. Imagine that for the last 6 years of your life, that you had been constantly compared to and had to live up to being the next Adrian Wojnarowski, or you have to be the next Adam Scheffner, or you have to be the next Jeff Passan. That'd be horrendous. I think even as an accountant, I live with a lot of accounting majors. I don't know who the world's greatest accountant is, but imagine if their entire life they had to grow up with the idea that they have to be, or they had that pressure placed on them. And I think it goes into a deeper conversation where, we look at it as quick little content we can make to get out and post to get more views, which is good. We need that. That's how we sustain sort of our living or this livelihood. But what's that effect that we're having? You know what I mean? Even, yes, we're a smaller podcast, I think, by comparison. But what if just one of those players tunes in and listens to that? You know what I mean? What if those larger podcasts where you're throwing these huge expectations, or because even you'll have players that, maybe they aren't going to live up to a Lamine Yamal hype, but maybe they'll live up to being a solid, even like Smith Rowe. Like say what you want about Smith Rowe. That's a quality proven midfielder. He's going to make plenty of money in his lifetime. I think he has a career that a lot of us as just fans would love to have. Like, that's not a bad career, not by a long stretch. You're a professional footballer for 10 plus years of your life. But because we have these expectations, because if he doesn't live up to that, his career is going to be somewhat labeled a failure because he doesn't play for the next 10 years at a Ballon d'Or level pace. Like, that's fucking crazy. Sorry, pardon my French there. Like, that's insane to sort of have this thought that we can
I completely agree
sort
with
of
you.
hold these expectations to what these people have to live out. And then they have to do it for us. I think there's an idea as media members, as content creators, that there can be this idea that the content we make, that the athletes, even if it is a sport that we're making content of, these things that we have to do, they have to fulfill that. They, them living up to their careers, them failing at their careers, making these transfers, making these decisions. In a way, we kind of take it as for us. So what we can do with it, how we can spin it, and the media, and what we can do with it. And I think there needs to be this sort of adjustment where it's not us serving this. It's not us having to do the work for the 16-year-old. It's like, hey, let this 16-year-old have his career, and we can comment on that career as it goes. We can talk about maybe who he's comparable to off his styles, maybe the potential that he can reach. But this idea that we have to label these, you are the next, that's crazy. That's just crazy.
It's the craziest. And I think part of it is obviously our obsession with Twitter, because Twitter's just filled, or X now, as I should say. X is just filled with a lot of people that like to do those comparisons. It's fun. And I guess it makes you feel better because you're like, yes, we have a young talent that can do what he can do. When it's like, no, that kid is an anomaly. A Messi's an anomaly. A Cristiano Ronaldo is an anomaly. A 19-year-old Mbappe for the French team is an anomaly. Like, these players, like, they've done what they've done, which is why I love this sport in a way, is because when talked about the right way, there's a bit of individuality in it. There's a sense of like, no, we have a Lenny Carl who can do this and this and this because he's German and he knows how to play this style of play, or like a Thomas Muller who's like a second strike. Well, it's like, that's why I like this sport. And when talked about right, there's so many different players that you can model your game after. Moussa Dembele is like one of those examples, right? Not a big name, but like, you'll model your game after him because like he has a specific style that you can potentially look after. But no one said Moussa Dembele, you're the next N'Golo Kante or like the next Makelele. Like, no, like, it's just, that's what makes the sports beautiful. Just allow players to be who they are. Do not label them to the next player.
I'll call out you in a sense here, not you, kind of you specifically. Not that I think you've ever explicitly said that, but like, Tchouaméni's been brought up and talked about a lot on this podcast. I think he was another great example when he made that, or around when he was making that move to Madrid. He was getting thrown in those French center defensive mid. He was getting thrown in those N'Golo Kantes, like those type of CDN conversations. And I think it's fair to say he hasn't lived up to that. Why? Because that's a huge expectation. Were we really expecting that Tchouaméni was going to come in and just be the next Kanté for Real Madrid? He has the talent to do so. He still can. And I mean, I wouldn't be mad at you if you kind of had those expectations with the money and all that sort of stuff. But like, that's still crazy that you just have that. We operate under this assumption because of, like Jeff said, because of all even those other extenuating factors. Sometimes it's even just their position that we throw those labels on. And as Jeff, I would say that hasn't lived up. We've even said it. We've had mistakes or had criticisms against Tchouaméni. That doesn't mean I think we don't put it into a context of sort of what's going on. I think actually within the club and all that sort of stuff. But how many people, would just label Tchouaméni a failure because of the expectations that we threw on him before that Madrid move?
Yeah, no, there's a lot.
Like, it's.
Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I was just like going off what Isaac said. I think in especially football media, you kind of see what's I call sports extremism, where you kind of have to like have the loudest voice, the biggest opinion or biggest hot take, or else no one's going to listen to you. You kind of either have to say your team's the best of all time or the worst of all time. Like if I say this Manchester United team's an okay team, no one's going to care. But if I say, oh, we're going to win the Champions League or we're going to win the Premier League, that gets people's attention. Like, obviously that's false, what I'm just saying, but it almost feels like with especially football, you have to have some crazy take to stay relevant. You can't really be a person who stays calm, level-headed, and really like analyzes things properly. No one, unfortunately, for better or for worse, no one cares. You almost have to be the loudest and hype this player up the most, or else you're just going to be lost in the sea of other fans. It's part of the problem. Now, I was just going to say, like, I don't know what the solution is. You know, as journalists, you have to propose a solution as well as a problem, but I don't know how we fix that. I mean, part of it, I guess, is that we watch people like Mark Goldbridge or AFTV, so we kind of reinforce their business model of watching hot takes. I mean, it almost feels like this inevitable thing that you just can't get rid of, that you
And it
almost have
goes
to
to that.
live with.
It goes into that question, I think, or the thing I posted about virality. And some of that's going to determine that. You know what I mean? Your AFTVs, your Mark Goldbridges, that's a very successful model. Yeah, if I could obtain that model for myself for a Bayern type, like whatever following, that would be amazing. I'd love that. But then, yeah, you also have that check of like, how are we operating? What is the type of work I'm doing? And as Kieran said, I don't think there's even a proposal that we can do to change that. I think it comes with us to produce content that people are going to enjoy that goes against those sort of reasons. You know what I mean? Some of it's going to be tough. Some of it is probably just not going to work. Like Kieran said, I would love a nice breakdown on why this United team is just mid. I'd like it. You've had a lot of very interesting storylines, and I think there are spaces where that would be enjoyable. But yeah, on the mass level of virality and soccer commentary, but yeah, like Kieran said, that probably won't. If he went on here and said that this is the best United team in the past 15 years, I don't know. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah, that's probably going to go viral, or that's going to get some interactions. It's about ourselves. But it's also tough because I'll get the little anti-capitalist spiel in here. What happens when what's prioritized is making money and profits is that hot take sport business model? How can we change the model? I got to reverse here. If we want to do that, produce content like that, it's great and all. We can do a really good job at it. You can put a lot of time and effort into it, but it's not able to sustain your living, your career, your work, your resume, whatever it is. Why are you going to keep making that? So then, that hot take stuff, because it's being able to provide those people's not only views and all that sort of stuff, but like a living, that's going to stick around. We have to change the perception of the modern viewer that what they want is something. When I say we, I'll just use like the perfect journalist in this example. I'm not talking about us specifically. We need to provide that. You know what I mean? We need to not only do such a good job that it gets the natural sort of fandom watching it, but what also kind of lays as the standard, if that makes sense.
No, I completely agree. And I think that's where, as journalists, we need to come in and just find more creative ways and more, how can I say this, less generic. Like, we need to be more expanding in ways to help develop the way we talk about this game. Because, like you said, I think there's going to reach a point now where we just don't care about a lot of things and we just move on from whatever hot takes that like this rage baiting engagement that you see sometimes a Fabrizio do, sometimes your biggest journalists do sometimes as well. So there's some things in which we need to change that aspect, but obviously when you have journalists and accounts doing this type of things, it's not going to work out. It really isn't. But just kind of to move forward now with a little bit of FA Cup, we will just kind of. I thank you boys again for the conversation, because it was kind of frustrating seeing like how we're gonna change it. Like, we're gonna not talk about how good he looked, but instead we're just gonna compare him to another player that's clearly just superior and just a player that you just can't compare. It's just incomparable based on the talent and stuff. But so we got Arsenal. They're going through 2-1 win over Mansfield Town. Interesting matchup that I wanted to watch was the Chelsea versus Wrexham. I didn't unfortunately have the time to catch it, but it's always interesting to see like the story of Wrexham, like how much they've gone so far into the English football leagues and stuff like that. Do you know what league they're in right now currently? If any of
They're
you
in the
boys know?
championship.
Championship.
I think the top half of the championship. Yeah.
Look how far they've gone, man.
Can you click on Wrexham real quick and see like their table in championship? Because I remember they were like 5th or 6th. I wonder what they're at right now.
They're currently they're 6th right now.
Yeah, they're in a playoff spot right now.
That's crazy.
So I will definitely be watching if they do make it. Those playoff games in Wembley are always. That's one of the most underrated games, man. Those Wembley playoff games are so underrated. Yeah. They're so underrated, man.
I think if you're a real championship fan, I think you're looking at Millwall in 3rd there, and you want them over Wrexham. I think I've seen Millwall sit in that top half of the league for the last 10 years of my life, and then they just fall apart at the end of the year. It's like this classic Millwall case, and they're sitting at a 3rd. They look the best. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm bored, or at least maybe at this point, like, I just don't care about the Wrexham story. It's also not a story as much of a Cinderella run as we think it is. They're putting in hundreds of $1 millions. They have celebrity owners. I do not care. It's the same thing for me as LeBron James and all that, like spending at Liverpool. I don't care. I don't care. I'd rather take,
I'm just more amazed.
Look at the table right now. Scroll down to Leicester right there. Scroll down to Leicester in relegation. Like, this is a furniture conversation. Leicester gets relegated. Sorry, yeah.
No. I'll finish on Rex. I get it. I know. It's just Ryan Reynolds, man. A lot of people are
I hate Ryan Reynolds. He's not funny. I'm sorry. It's for me. He's just not funny.
He's my Deadpool. I'm a big Deadpool fan. So
Deadpool versus Wolverine sucked. I don't know if you know my own letterbox. Terrible movie.
If we were a movie podcast, I would definitely be arguing right now. But I won't. But I just will say, hey, any Wrexham fans out
You
there,
enjoy
shout out to
slop,
you.
Jeff. I'm gonna take it. You enjoy Wolverines, but Deadpool versus Wolverine. You enjoy nostalgia slop. There's my hot take for this episode.
You're lucky we're not in the movie because I would argue.
Cameo merchant. You're a cameo merchant. That's what you are. What do you want? What do you love the Knives Out franchise because of all the famous actors that show up on it? This is a great franchise, by the way. So I'm not gonna not to shit on Knives Out there, but
all right, man. I love you, bro. But we will be moving forward with the list. So yes, it is kind of crazy when you look at this. Oh my god.
We talked about Tottenham. This is going to be the point to bring this up. Me and Jeff talked about this beforehand. I'll respond to some of the comments about the Tottenham reels we had been posted where they were talking about how we don't think we truly understand what would happen to that club. Oh, I'm fully aware that Tottenham would go through decades probably of struggle, and they're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Take Leicester right now. Like Leicester has that extensive training ground. They have the women's team as well, which I don't know how that's going to work if they get relegated again with League One funding. I'm fully aware that that's going to ruin that club for, again, a long while. Hey, Europeans, I don't know if it's because we've had to live with capitalist owners for like our entire life. Not that they aren't obviously over and overseas. These millionaire owners, they don't care until they start losing a lot of money. I know the Tottenham owners are going to say they care. I know the United owners say they care. They're still raking in hundreds of $millions off this team from international sales and all that. They don't really care. You need Tottenham to start losing hundreds of or tens of millions of dollars year in, year out for these owners to think, oh, wow, maybe we need to make real systemic change. And I also, quite frankly, don't care if Tottenham get relegated. There's also a bit of that. But like being in the UK, I understand that's a team that's been there for a while. There's a lot of history. I could get why you'd see that. I do think there is a bit of that being an American. I recognize we don't have as much of that natural, like emotional investment that I think people in England would be able to invest. I just didn't appreciate the whole, we don't have an understanding for what that would mean and all the money involved. Fully aware. I don't give a shit. Tottenham's been a joke my entire life outside of that one Champions League run. And they almost beat Leicester in the league title that one year. Like, I don't know. I just heard the same stuff over and over, year in, year out. Same thing with Leicester. I don't want it to happen to Leicester as well because I think going down to League One is going to be way worse for them. I think they might even just be done for a bit.
I think Leicester are more screwed than Spurs, if I'm being quite honest with you, man.
Yeah.
For the time being, because I still think Spurs has the players, but Leicester, I don't. Dude, if they go, oh my god.
Yeah, Leicester. I was gonna say, like, not to like argue with Isaac, but I think some people have this like fantasy relegation where they think they get relegated, that their club's going to perfectly rebuild and bounce back the next year. That's not always the case. Like, look at Sunderland. I know they're in the Premier League right now. They got relegated in 2017. It took them almost a decade to get back up to the Premier League. In fact, after they got relegated back to the League One the following year. Yep. We even look like Millwall, Portsmouth, Hull City, Coventry. When they got relegated, we haven't seen them since then. So just be aware that I get that relegation can mean rebuilding, but be careful for what you wish for because it's not a guarantee that you're going to perfectly rebuild and be back in another year. Look at Watford. How many times have Watford sacked a manager or gotten relegated? And look where they are now, outside the playoff zone. So I get that relegation can be a good thing in the long term, but it's not a guarantee that's going to work out either. I'll
push back a little bit there with you bring up some of those Watford, some of those Southamptons, those Norwiches. They've been yo-yo clubs, so they've gone back in. I do think when Tottenham, as soon as they get back into the Premier League, they're going to be able to invest to where like they would be able to stay up there since then. Again, it's still a dream. And again, it goes back to the point. I don't care if Tottenham get relegated. Like if they get relegated and they don't go back up for another 10 years, it does not bother me. I'm not a Tottenham fan. I'm sorry. That's the hot take. Like I just think like what's best for their club is to go through like a real financial, like just a real spin, like a real downturn before they can, I don't know. Again, I can be proven wrong. They can make a few signings in the summer, transfer window, hire the next manager, and then they're right back in the top four the next 2-3 years. And I'm shutting up and eating my words. But hey, they could also be relegated in the span of 2 months, and we're having these exact same conversations all over again.
Yeah. I just want to say before we move on, man, I just miss seeing West Brom. Man, I miss seeing Watford. This poor little Southampton, man. What the hell, bro? See, like Kieran's point, like you guys said, like we know they're gonna go through trouble because I thought they would be back, and look, they're still there in 8th. So, man, but I do wish to see a West Brom, just one of those teams, or Blackburn Rovers, man. I just need
Premier League winner Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, man, I need them back.
One-time Premier League winner.
Also, I'm sorry. Have you seen that Sheffield Wednesday? I'm sorry for all my Sheffield Wednesday fans. One win on the calendar year. I'm so sorry.
That's brutal. They're like such a big points deduction that there's just no possibility of them getting saved.
I forget what exactly they got points deduction for it, but that was like earlier in the season. That was like their story. I think they had like 20-something points, and boom, it went down to like -11.
I will say though, if Man City are found guilty of 115 charges, imagine what that punishment could be.
I know. Yeah. But
Straight to non-league.
In like the championship one year.
Kieran, I imagine you were a big fan of that tackle on Garnacho, which was a red card, which I imagine you were a big fan.
Okay, now I'll say I'm not a fan of player violence. I don't want any player to get hurt, right? But it was a red card. I'm sorry. I know Ryan Reynolds was complaining about it after the game, but that's a clear red card. That's a dangerous challenge. Could have torn his ACL. Yeah. And by the way, Ryan Reynolds, I know you hate VAR, but guess what? If you get promoted to the Premier League next year, you're going to have VAR every single week. So you can't be crying about it every single. And by the way, those two decisions against Wrexham, the red card and the disallowed goal, were both objectively correct. He was clearly outside, and that was a reckless and violent challenge. I mean, I don't know.
People just love to complain, dog. People just love to complain.
I know, but still, like, you're going to have to deal with that every single week next year if you get promoted. I mean,
that's why sometimes, like, when Barca Madrid fans complain, I just mute them. I'm like, dude, shut it. Like, I don't want to hear it. Let me hear you complain about your owners and your players and your managers and your tactics. Fair enough. Or the fans, too. But I'm so tired of hearing like referees are against you and stuff like that. Maybe there is, but it's like who cares, man. But
yeah,
no,
who cares, bro? You got like 15 Champions League, and you buy those refs, and you get all the we have a Bayern fan that can like speak about it, right?
Didn't you have that punch someone in the face this year and not get a red card? Didn't you have like you? Well, let's talk about how Valverde was straight up assaulting people on the pitch. We want to talk about that conversation, Jeff. You want to? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna move on.
We match up again in this podcast, and we're gonna have a debate about that Madrid versus Bayern thing. I can't wait. I was asking for the red card
screenshot with the line that I'm gonna. You know what? Maybe that'll be my next background. I'm gonna look for that offside position right now.
Fair enough. Doc, I was gonna say because you know how much United fans hate Garnacho. Wait, you too, Aricha. I imagine there was a part of you like, oh, I feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Come on.
It was a foul. It was reckless. It was that, but like what Kieran said. I mean, I wouldn't like wish any kind of like career-ending injury upon somebody, obviously no matter how much I hate them. So,
but I will say though that I saw Kiefer Moore had like a very physical challenge in Mark Cucurella. I think like Cucurella like got hurt or whatever. I'm not saying I enjoy it, but you ever notice how like all of football hates Mark Cucurella? Like there's a good compilation online of people just like committing the most egregious fouls against Cucurella. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. Like you think people hate Garnacho, but Cucurella is like
I remember he had like
I was gonna say real quick, like I will say in like the case of Garnacho and Sancho, like whenever it is that they play for Aston Villa or Chelsea and they have like a horrible spell, or maybe they're like benched the whole game, it does bring a little smile to my face seeing like you guys were so cocky and you guys like took United completely forward. I'm sorry, I just saw Isaac.
He found the picture, guys. He found it.
I can't like reverse it with the text, but it does say the linesman in the wrong position to make the call. Zoom out, Jeff. They got to see literally not in the right position to make the call. That's step one of your job. I'm sorry. I know I should have gotten over this by now, but like Jeff asked about the Madrid riffs, and I'm not letting this one. I'm never letting that one die. I'm sorry. I can't let that one die.
Mr. Canova.
I just love how like your head is just floating in the background.
Don't worry, we got the second one too, guys. There's another one because there's more than one.
All right, I'll bring you mine, but I agree. Like even let's say no. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna like finish off by saying like Sancho, Garnacho. Like I hope you guys don't continue to succeed in your clubs because you guys needed a humbling. But I also hope like you don't get like fully torn apart. Like
I agree with you too, bro.
Or something. That's where I'll leave it at.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like I'm like that with Odegaard or like Loriente too. I'm like I hope you guys just fail miserably and you just like the worst of the worst happens to you because of how snaky and like how just cowards. You can't really stay and compete. Like get out of here, man. But we will try to continue on recapping the games. I know it's a fun segment here, but Manchester City, they're gonna continue through 3-1 win over Newcastle United. Southampton, funny enough, that was talking crap about earlier in the episode. They won 1-0 over Fulham. Sunderland knocked out by Port Vale. Shout out to Port Vale knocking out Sunderland in the FA Cup.
That's a big upset. Like the Port Vale, like making into what is this now, the fifth round or the quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals. The last day. Yeah.
They're the lowest.
What league are
ranked
they in?
That's
They're
a Prem team,
24th in League One. They're in
Yeah.
League
Oh
One,
my
by the way.
Lord.
and they just beat
Yeah.
the 10th or like a mid-table Prem team. Like,
That is insane. Wow. That is.
I feel like we should give them more credit there.
Shout out
That's
to
a great
Port-
story right there. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a great story right there. Look at that. Shout out to John Brady, Ben Amos, Aaron Davies, Joe Gauci,
That's
Jesse
a whole-
McGraw,
All right.
Hunter
So-
Hall, Kyle John, Cameron Humphreys. Shout out to this team, man.
Who's their
Shout
most valuable
out.
player in the squad? That I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
Now.
Who has the most goals, Jeff? Since you're like their biggest fan, who's their manager?
The top scorer is
Well-
Ben Wayne with.
Oh,
What's
Ben
their-
Wayne. I
what's
think he's an
their-
Aussie or a New Zealander. I used to usually use him a lot on FIFA career mode rebuilds. So shout out.
Cameron Humphreys with the most minutes.
Yeah, who did Cameron Humphreys play for before Port Vale?
Let me see.
No, without a foot mob, man.
Oh, Man City Academy products. Okay. I see.
Damn.
Impressive.
Rotherham United on a free.
Excelsior in the Netherlands too. That's an interesting career
wow.
little arc.
Interesting. But shout out to Portville, man. Knocking out Sunderland, man.
Mhm.
And then I think tomorrow we do have another FA Cup game.
West Ham, I believe.
Yeah,
West Ham against Brentford.
And then,
And then-
oh yeah, Leeds also won 3-0 against Norwich City as well.
And then on top, you actually skipped Wolves versus Liverpool, where Liverpool. I
Oh
guess
yes,
got-
apologies. And Liverpool did get their comeback against. Yes, you're right. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
Their comeback win over. Well, they revenged their game from last. What was it? Wednesdays.
yeah.
They got a 3-1. Was it a Tuesday game or Monday game? I forgot.
I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Yeah,
and then they
Tuesday
played
game.
Friday.
Yeah.
3-1 win over Wolverhampton. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be going in for that FA Cup too. I mean, that's probably the only title that they could potentially win, along with Chelsea too. Obviously, Man City and Arsenal are going to be competing as well, but I think Liverpool are going to be other those big teams that will try to compete and get through that as well. But yeah, I think before we continue on to Champions League finally, I will, as always, give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Robin Stone. Please go out and follow Stone Pictures, the man himself, the legend that's always producing and editing our content out on the social media places. But please go out and give our boy a follow for all the hard work that he does. Please go follow. Go hit the follow button. If you're listening to us, go hit the follow button on him. Give him the support, man. We need all the love for him as well. But finally, it's time. And now I do have to switch pages right here. Or I should say switch tabs, I should say, when I'm sharing my screen. We do have now Champions League. Oh, boys. This is going to be fun. I think I had it on the script right here. We'll be doing I think these are what the two. I'm forgetting which games are first. I think these are the Tuesday games, correct? Liverpool and Galatasaray. So we'll do these first on. Yeah,
Well, they do say the date on there, Jeff, to call you out a little bit.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
say, did
but
you not
March
notice
10th,
this?
March 11th.
It's all over the place.
Tuesday would
Okay.
be first in the week over Wednesday.
No, I know. I'm just
Okay.
trying to based on this bracket that we have here. Like some of the games are moved all over the place. Like I would rather do it on one side than the next side, but I'm just gonna do the 10th
That's-
game. So
All the
we'll
10th
start off.
ones are on the top, all the 11th ones are on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, Bayern's on that. I forgot they're on the 10th. And then they get the one in there.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with Galatasaray versus Liverpool, boys. So what's our prediction then? Liverpool versus the Galatasaray. I know Liverpool just came off a 3-1 win over Wolves, but I'm curious to see whether they can do it at the Galatasaray. Can they beat it?
I think it'll be a draw in the first leg in Istanbul, but I think Liverpool are going to beat them at Anfield. I'll use the example of Madrid. I know you guys lost to Benfica in the league phase, but you learned from it. You learn the different lessons, and then in the playoffs, you got your revenge and beat them pretty comprehensively. I think the same thing goes for Liverpool. I mean, they lost to Galatasaray, albeit a controversial penalty in the league phase, but I think Liverpool will come back extra motivated to beat them. I think their squad, say what you want, but on its day, Liverpool is a good team with some very, very good players. I also think that Champions League suits Liverpool more. I think European football is a bit more expansive. There's more space to exploit. There's less low blocks, which Liverpool struggle against massively. So I think this Champions League format suits Liverpool more, and that's why they look better, in my opinion, in the Champions League. So I think they'll beat Galatasaray across two legs.
Yeah, agreed with Kieran. And I was also going to say, like, I think Liverpool, they have good memories of Turkey because of the 2005 Champions League. So, I
Yeah.
mean, they could even win that first leg. But yeah, given that the Galatasaray game, it's their home game first in the leg, and then the second one being at Anfield, I think Liverpool will probably take this like 3-1 aggregate. Yeah, that'd be my prediction. And also agreed with Kieran about the fact that they're still a great team. You know, you still got like great attacking options, solid midfield and defense as well. So it's just only a matter of time for they can really get into the game and completely take advantage of it and probably win this tie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree. I'll probably take it even a step further. I think they can win both legs quite handedly. Like you said, if this Liverpool's team turns up on their day, I think they got a chance. I mean, not to discredit Galatasaray. I mean, we've talked a lot about Osimhen. They got a lot of talent on that squad. I think this might arguably be one of the better Galatasaray sides we've seen in recent years. I think if it's whenever you look into that squad, even have David Sanchez, you have like Premier League experience within that squad. They're not bad by any margin. I'll take it even a step further too with what I think Liverpool's capable of. I mean, they're the sleeper pick on this side of the bracket. And I think it's quite easily, like you said, if this is barring them turning up on their day, they can get a result against the City. They could beat a Real, they could beat a PSG, they could beat a Chelsea, they could beat us, they could beat Atalanta, and obviously they would get through Galatasaray. I don't know why. I mean, I'd be interested to sort of see. I haven't looked at like a lot of people's predictions. I would be kind of surprised if Liverpool's not getting taken more out of this. I agree a lot with sort of their Champions League experience and how that sort of this European football suits them a lot better over some of the other sides. Yeah, I would not put it past Liverpool to not only move on but see themselves in the finals out of this side. I'm not going to take them over Bayern. Like I'll spoil my part of the prediction on that, but it would not shock me if we talk about Liverpool in a final. It would not shock me.
All right, my turn now. Y'all are gonna be so wrong, and I'm gonna be so right when I say this. Galatasaray are gonna dunk the living hell out of Liverpool. I'm telling you. Osimhen double is coming. Gundogan is gonna. I think Galatasaray are gonna go in and win like 3-1.
A near 4-year-old
close off shop at Anfield. And they're gonna go out, hit them on the break in one of those games, and knock them out. I think
Are you being serious or are you like sarcastic?
I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I think this Liverpool team is so awful defensively. Like they're awful defensively. I seriously think they're one of the worst defensive teams. Like if we're bad, if PSG are bad, I think they're one of the worst. And I just think with Osimhen's like prowess that I saw against Juve, I think the options that you have coming off the bench too, which Sané and this one other, I'm forgetting the guys. I think he's a left winger, but I think he scored in the second leg versus Juve too. They just have so much attacking power that I feel like they can just close it down and get through. And I think they'll do it. I think they can pull it off. So I know it's a hot take, but I'm gonna take an inspiration from my guy Isaac and just take the big risk. I think this
I say you take risks, not stupid picks, but that's a kind of joke.
Yeah, I was also gonna say. I mean, like you have 8 opportunities to make a take like that. I'm surprised you're using it in the first one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's okay,
man. Liverpool's defense was bad. Look at Galatasaray's defense. They blew a 3-goal lead against Juventus. That's like a bad Juventus team too.
That's why I think at Anfield will be different. But they'll go up shop. I think they're going to score like 3 or 4 goals in the first. All right. We'll move on to.
I also like how he talked about their defense getting worse when they lost Trent. Like I know they haven't been good this year, but I think getting Trent out of your defense automatically makes your defense better.
No, because Van Dijk has been awful this year. He's been absolutely awful.
I don't think I'm going to go absolute awful. He has not been Van Dijk. I'm not going to lie. The idea that Van Dijk is absolutely awful when you have to watch your center backs play, like you want to talk about awful center backs, you have to watch 3 of them at your club every week. So I don't know if we want to start talking about Van Dijk on this.
Left back is literally the Spanish the English version of what is he? I don't even know what.
Not if Robertson.
He's Scottish, Jeff.
Scottish, dude. He's the Scottish Fran Garcia. That left back is so doo doo. That defense is mid as hell. And
you're talking about the Hungarian that they brought in?
Are you talking about Robertson or Kirkis?
Kirkis
has been a lot better this second half of the season. Like this second half of the season, he is not good, but he's been a lot better recently. I'm like 30% Hungarian. I'm not gonna let you disrespect my guy like that on the episode. I'm not gonna tolerate that disrespect there.
I like Szoboszlai. We might get him too.
Szoboszlai is arguably a top 3 player in the Premier League this season. I don't know if you know that's a hot take. He's been playing the best football of his entire career. I don't think we're talking enough about Szoboszlai as Premier League player of the year. We want to talk. And no
Ooh,
discredit to
there we go.
Bruno. When you talk about Bruno in those conversations, I'm putting Szoboszlai for the exact same reasons in terms of what they're doing for
I
that
forgot
attack.
about Szoboszlai in this tie. He could just deliver you a moment of brilliance. Ooh, there you go. Thank you, man.
I don't mean like again. They let us
We got to test
see
right.
your
Got
face,
to
but-
knock out Liverpool.
Nah, stick to your gut. If it's saying Galatasaray, then stick to Gala.
Got to test right. Got to test right. I have a gut
All
feeling
right.
they're gonna do it. They're gonna have a magical run. I have a feeling. So panel says, I say Galatasaray go through. I'm gonna say
Liverpool.
like 5-3. 5-3, 5-4. Isaac?
I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go like a Liverpool like 5-2 on aggregate, 6-2 on aggregate.
I'll go Liverpool 4-2 in aggregate.
I'll keep it a little more conservative. Liverpool 3-1 aggregate.
3-1 aggregate? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So now we're going to move on to the next game, which is Newcastle versus Barcelona. The first game will be at St. James's Park. Yes, I know you listeners are probably like, can you not just name the stadium instead of saying that England? St. James's Park, for crying out loud. I could not name that stadium. But I think from Barca's point of view here, there's a little bit of the conversations regarding who the main striker will be. Obviously, you know Pedri's going to be starting. No Frankie de Jong, so that's going to be a problem for them because I think de Jong and Pedri have been the best midfield duo alongside Vitinha and João Neves the last 2 years. So de Jong, the physical presence and technical brilliance and IQ that he brings will not be in the first leg, and I think this whole tie too. But obviously, you have the magic of Lamine, the midfield of Pedri, and Bernal, who's that's a key player too as well. And then obviously their defense has been getting a little bit better these last 2 games, more specifically that Atletico Madrid game, in terms of that high line offense. But you are coming into St. James's Park, and same thing to Kieran said from the last game too. That when they met up earlier, and I believe what was it, September or October in the Champions League. I know Newcastle got a result. Were I guess shell shocked, as a lot of fans were on Twitter, by how good Barca was in that game. So I guess the real question mark is de Jong's absence, and then obviously who's going to be the striker, because Fran's been awful. So do you bring in the veteran and Lewandowski to come into these games? So for me, I'm just going to say it out loud. I think Barca is going to win this. It will be a tough game at St. James's Park. I will not be surprised if this is like a 2-2 or a 3-3 result. But I think once they go to Camp Nou, the energy, the vibrance, the form that Lamine is in right now, I think Barca storms away with it, and it'll probably be like a 5-3 win or like a 6-3, like a 3-0 win in the second leg when they go to the Camp Nou.
Yeah, I also think it's Barcelona. I'll touch on what I said a couple weeks ago. I just think Newcastle are very inconsistent. I really don't know what I'm going to get with them. Talking about Barcelona's injuries, I think Newcastle is similar. I think Bruno Guimaraes is still injured. Yep. He's their best player, their best midfielder, their captain. That's a huge loss. And you talk about strikers with Barcelona, I can say the same thing about Newcastle. I don't know who's going to start for them. If it's Osula or Voltemada or Wessa, none of them have been like great this season. They've had flashes of brilliance, but none of them have been consistently good for Newcastle. So I know they have good wingers, but their forwards have been a bit spotty this year. And I just think Barcelona's quality, you just named all their attackers. I think that is going to be more than enough to deal with Newcastle. I think Barcelona win this like 5-2 in aggregate.
Yeah, gotta agree here. I think I'll go with Barca as well. There's just that offense is going to be too much for Newcastle to deal with. Number one, you got to deal with like Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, and then there's also questions of like whether Lewandowski's going to play or not. But then off the bench, I'm guessing he's going to come off the bench. You have Rashford, who did score a brace against Newcastle in the group stage of Champions League. So, and he's obviously like played in prime conditions and has excelled in it. So, I think aggregate-wise, I could see Barca scoring like 8 goals. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a very heavy offensive game. But I'll cater it down a bit. I'll say like maybe 7-3, 7-2 Barca aggregate. I think they win both games for both legs in St. James and obviously Spotify Camp Nou.
Yeah, and you did mention the Rashford point too. Rafinha hasn't been that great this year, and that's due to I think injuries and like all those other factors that have been playing a part. But Rashford coming off the bench, so I did forget to mention that too. Like he has the experience, and I want to know if Richie, you can do this on the side too. I want to know what's Rashford's record against Newcastle because I feel like every time he just scores against Newcastle, man, he just loves Newcastle. Did he score a free kick against Newcastle?
He
I
scored
swear
against
he
them
did.
once at St. James's Park in 2020. I remember that. He got
Well, I
an
know
assist too.
in the Carabao Cup final, which I believe that's at
Yeah.
Wembley, he did score the second
That's
goal.
true.
That you know.
Yeah, Isaac,
yeah.
what's your pick?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go Barca here. I think you'd kind of be crazy not to, but I do think this is gonna be the game we're gonna get the closest on upset alert. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I could see it going both ways. I could see it either a Reacher style where it's just so high scoring, it's going to be kind of a back and forth, or it's one where like Newcastle are going to go up early. Maybe they're going to get a good result and score early. But ultimately, I think Barca is going to see it through. I think there's both some things where you're worried. Like I think Jeff's talked a lot about defensively with Barca as well. We've obviously talked a lot about Newcastle. I mean, I looked at it. Even just heading into this match, Newcastle has conceded a goal in 13 consecutive matches, and they've conceded a goal in 6 straight home matches as well. Barca's I won the career series against them. They're 2-1, I think, at Newcastle in their career as well. I think they're like 4 wins and 1 loss against them in total as well. I think this is just the moment where yet again you're going to get a Yamin, a Pedri, like just a moment of brilliance out of Barca. I think they're going to need something to get a result out of one of these 2 games, and they're just going to get it. I think Barca also has that clutch factor, and again, I think they're also looking at this side of the bracket. You're worried about Arsenal, obviously. But you're also like, you get through Newcastle, you're going to have maybe Atletico or Tottenham, but you're still thinking you can get past that. Like, there's kind of no excuse for Barca here to not be in the semis at least. That I think they also know that, and they're going to take this. You played them twice; they're going to take this matchup seriously. I think you have someone like Lua, which is so great to kind of come in off the bench in case you need it. I think his physicality even is going to be able to hold up against like a Newcastle side or something like that. I guess maybe outside like a Dan Burn. And like Bruno Guimaraes being out is huge. Like Newcastle's not going to be at full strength; they're going to be inconsistent. And over 2 legs, it's going to favor Barca.
Yeah. It's almost like the De Jong injury, because that was the big thing that came in when we heard that the Jong injury was more so for Barca fans and Liga fans. It was like, oh, that's a big loss. But it's like, well, you cancel that, I don't know, with Bruno's injury and the fact that they're inconsistent. And then the Lewandowski thing, I hope he starts. That's my prediction. I think he will start, just because I think Ferran's been bad. But then, like you said, like those moments of brilliance for Lamine and Pedri, I think work for Lewandowski because he just brings in so much attention. For not only the name, like think of it like Ronaldo, for example. Like I know Ronaldo is not the player that he was like 10 years ago, 5 years ago even. But it's just the name and his ability to just crash the box and score a header or just one moment of getting in there. I think that's something that Lewandowski can definitely bring for that for this tie, especially in that first game. But I do think Newcastle, with the energy, the intensity, they'll go all in for that first game, get like a 2-2, 3-3 draw. And then I think, like you said, like I think what everyone said here, it's just the defense, Newcastle's just inconsistencies, and then the moments of brilliance that works for the Champions League. Barca have like 2 of those players in Pedri and Lamine, and Rafinha too. Like Rafinha will just pop in with a goal. So, I think final scores here. So panel says for me, Barca to win. I think 5-3 on aggregate. I think it'll be a 3-3 draw at Newcastle. I'm gonna go crazy with it. Screw it, why not? 3-3 or 2-2. And then it's going to be like 5-3 or 4-2 on aggregate. Because they'll win like 2-0 at the Cup now. Isaac, final.
I'll go Barca 6-5 on aggregate.
6-5. Okay.
I will go with Barcelona winning 5-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, and I'll stick with my same prediction, 7-3 Barca aggregate. And also real quick, I did pull up the Marcus Rashford stat against Newcastle.
Oh yeah,
it's actually much higher than I thought. So in 16 games, including the 1 game that he did play against Newcastle as a Barcelona player, which was that Champions League game, he has 7 goals and 4 assists in 16 games. So that's actually a pretty good record against the team.
Yeah.
He has 10 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. In the 13 Prem games that he did play, scored 4 goals and has 4 assists. So, yeah, that man, he somehow does have Newcastle's numbers.
Yeah. All right, next. God, this is why I did not want to bring Kobe on this, because what's the point of even debating this? Yeah. I guess what's our prediction? I think any smart man is not going to go with if Tottenham win this draw. What do you guys want me to do? If realistic here, if Tottenham do win this,
I mean, you're probably the biggest Atletico hater on this panel, so whatever.
Hey, you would like
How-
this, actually, Jeff. I think it would.
That
you'd be
this
happy
Loki
if
could be
they
your
won.
Champions League this season if Madrid doesn't pull through, which they probably won't.
If this
but-
Atletico Madrid team gets knocked out by this Tottenham team, I will.
Come on, you don't see Conor Gallagher scoring a brace to beat his club, you know?
Yeah,
Former
exactly. That's a great storyline right there. Christian Romero scoring against his future club, possibly. You know.
Mm.
I'll figure it out, but I'll do something. I'll donate
That's good.
I'll
Maybe-
donate something.
I was gonna
No,
say
don't-
maybe we
don't
can
do
check
that,
in
'cause-
with you. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I would say because then you get in the realm of like what happens if Tottenham doesn't get upset. Are you just going to not donate to charity, and then you're the guy that's not donating to charity? And I don't know if you want to do
You're
that.
right, never mind.
I think if
Yeah.
your son is going to donate for charity, you should donate regardless. But it's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I'll think of something. I'll eat something I don't like on that day. Who knows? I don't know.
Kind of like
I'll-
the Pat McAfee situations with like college game day. If like a kid doesn't like make a field goal, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do now? For, like the extra 100,000, 500,000 that you pledged that you were gonna donate, like you're probably
Yeah.
gonna give them money anyways. But I was gonna say like we could also check in with you a week later. If there's like a proper result from that first leg where it's like, oh yeah, Tottenham has no chance, then, or maybe if they do have a chance, then it's like, oh well, what do you think? What do you think you want to do? You know.
All I'm gonna say is I think. See, maybe a week earlier, I would have been confident in my pick, and maybe Tottenham can get something. But after what I've seen these last two games, and especially this past, Wednesday? Yeah, there's no hope for this team, though. There's zero energy. They're gonna throw it away because they have to now. They're in relegation zone. They might fight, but I generally. Where's the first game gonna be at again? I believe that's at Tottenham.
No,
That
it's
first
Yeah,
just
it's
leg?
at the Wanda Metropolitano.
Or is
in
that the
Madrid.
Wanda?
Yeah.
God, man.
Nothing that favors Tottenham though. I think you'd rather be home that second leg. So go in and get a result or keep it close, and then just see it out at home if you can.
Yeah, but given how this Tottenham team is playing, you don't want to have like an Arsenal Madrid situation like last year where they end up winning like 3-0 in the first leg, and second leg it's like, well, what do? You know, it's not like you're Real Madrid that could still have like the comeback, the remontadas.
Yeah,
but
they
like,
have no aura. This team has no aura, especially if they're
Exactly.
relegation.
I don't know.
What's our aggregate score? I think everyone knows it's going to be Atletico. I think the whole panel agrees, right? What's going to be our aggregate score? That's
the
going to
thing
be
is, the thing is, I could also see Donovan Solanke Dominic. Wait, what's his first name?
It's Dominic, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why I call him Donovan. Dominic Solanke, you could turn back the days of 2019 where Lucas Moura scored a hat trick against Ajax and leads the team to the final. No, but you're right. I think I saw that in my dreams, so there's no chance that's happening.
I'm going to go with so Atletico wins. Our panel says Atletico wins. For me, I think first leg, Atletico get like a 3-0 comfortable result, and then I'm going to say like a 1-1 draw at Tottenham. I'll give them that amount of hope because I do think maybe they don't. Actually, no, they're embarrassing. No, what am I saying, bro? 5-0 in aggregate, 3-0 win at the one, and then 2-0 at Spurs' ground. There's no way. If there's a goal, maybe it's just one goal throughout these next two ties because there's no way they're scoring with that offense that they have. No way. Maybe just one, maximum one, but 5-0 in aggregate. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Isaac,
I'll go 4-2.
4-2. All right.
Yeah, I'll go 4-1 Atletico Madrid. I think Tottenham's one goal is going to be from a set piece. They've been so good at set pieces this year for some reason. So I can see Van de Ven scoring against them in like the first or second leg, but I think Atletico are in good form right now. I think they're just going to be too good for Tottenham.
Yeah, and they'll probably get a red card too. I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham get a red card in these games.
Romero gets sent off again, See that
First future
happening.
club. No, actually, Romero
Yeah.
will probably have a good matchup because he's going to probably what's the name? What's the term? He's going to do a trial. He's going to do a trial. That's potentially his next team he wants to go to. So there you go. You can't get a red card. But Van de Ven, I don't know, man. Just give us a trial too. We might want you. So it's like we play better too, and you lock down them. But
I think I was just gonna say I'll probably end it up with a 5-1 Atletico. I think 3-0 at the Metropolitano and then 2-1 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Alrighty.
now we got the main game here.
Atalanta.
Atalanta versus Bayern de Munich. Bayern München. Isaac, I'll let you take the floor.
Oh, really? I'm leading this one off. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm I don't know if I want to say I'm worried. I think Atalanta's a side that I don't think should be slept on. I think they've had a good year from what I've seen. I think in Italian football, I could be mistaken. I'm not going to claim to be the most up to date with their season. But I know I think it's even a side I've just seen from social media interactions that it's one that we should not be sleeping on whatsoever. And I think anytime you're in a Champions League knockout stage, you should not be sleeping on your team regardless. I think that's a funny sentiment that gets brought up where we talk about bye games, and I'm like, we saw Ajax versus Madrid. You know what I mean? There's no bye games in these knockout stages. There's no easy opponent. That being said, of course, I'm still going to take Bayern through 2 legs of this. I mean, simply put, I think we've just been too good on offense. I don't think there's a team in Europe right now that I've seen outside of Arsenal, I will say, because they held us to 1 goal, that really can stop us going forward. And I'm even going to say with that Arsenal game, you didn't even have Musiala and everyone at their full potential. So, yeah, I just think this is one where how can you not over 2 legs, I think, favor a Bayern squad that is one I think you're the most. Yeah, I'll ask the panel here. Is there another side you're more confident in that can score goals than Bayern? Is there a team? Are you taking someone over them as a team?
No, I think you guys do have the best attack.
So I think it's when we're over 2 legs. I don't think you can worry. I'm not going to come on here and say some 8-2 or 10-2, whatever aggregate. It's just not going to be like that. I could see 6-2. I think is probably what I'll finish up on. I could see us getting at least 3 goals. I mean, we average at least, I think, around 3 goals a game. If I think probably a little more than that. It's 3-5 or something I saw last. I think at minimum you're getting 4 goals, 5 goals out of us between 2 legs, and then I think defensively we'll be good enough. Neuer's going to be out for 2 weeks. That's good. Neuer's just been bad this year. He needs to hang it up. He's 40. You can tell he's 40. Erbig's the future. So I'm not even worried about our main injury crisis that we're facing with that. Is a player who I think we're actually getting better because of an injury. So I'm not worried about this matchup over the course of 2 legs. Again, full credit to Atalanta. They're going to be a tough side, but yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't be going through.
Yeah. Kieran and Eritrea?
Yeah, I'll go with Bayern Munich. I think they're the best team in Europe in terms of the attack and depth. I think they're such a good roster. I know Atalanta had that comeback against Dortmund. That was a good comeback, but no offense, Dortmund is not as good as Bayern. No offense, if Dortmund can score, I think 3 or 4 goals past Atalanta, I think Bayern can replicate that, if not do more than that. I just think Bayern's attack is going to be too much for Atalanta. This isn't like the Atalanta of 2 or 3 years ago that won the Europa League. It's a team that's gotten weaker. They've lost Lookman. They've lost other players through either injury or transfers. I think Bayern will win 5-1.
All right.
Yeah, gotta go with Bayern here. I mean, it's a Lookman-less Atalanta squad that we're talking about. I don't even know what their offense really looks like that much. While it's Bayern, I mean, they have a clear identity. And honestly, I could see Harry Kane scoring a hat trick in one of these games. So I know, like Isaac said, it's probably not going to be a big aggregate score. I think it is. I think it's probably going to be some 7-1 aggregate here. Bayern should comfortably win this tie.
All right. So for me, I'm in agreement with everyone. I think this is an all Bayern win. Obviously, like Kieran said, I think these are based on form, consistency, talent. I think this is arguably the greatest team. Jesus Christ. I was going to say, obviously the best team, arguably the best team and favorites to win the Champions League alongside an Arsenal. And I think with Barca, the way they're creeping up too, I think they're probably third in there as well with Man City and all of them. Isaac, you did say that there's a team that can probably compete with you in terms of offense. Maybe Barca, if they get their act right, I think that's another team that just, from me watching them play and the way they create chances, it's just man, they just can get a goal out of nothing too and just attack. But I do agree with you. I think they're the best attack in the world right now. They just score goals for fun. And who you're trusting, Kane or Lewandowski or Ferran Torres? I'm trusting Kane. Olise versus Lamine, that's a debate. And then Rafinha versus Luis Diaz. I think it's been Luis Diaz this year. So it's
Diaz has been a top 10 player in the world this season. I don't know if that's a hot take or not even. That's you have 3 forwards that are top 10 in the world right now, I think, as we'd say.
Yeah,
I agree.
You have a Ballon favorite in there, and then you have Musiala, and I forgot about Musiala too, who's just.
And he's just coming back from injury. They've really worked him in. He had a good result against Mönchengladbach in our win, but he's not even been in full form. You can tell he's not even fully healthy, and they're doing a good job.
And even if he isn't, and I'm not worried. You have Carl coming in too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Gnabry's been great as a 10, oddly enough. I know I've been very critical of him in the past. He's done his job as a 10 and as a backup, so I'll take it. Again, is he going to be getting 2 90-minute games versus Atalanta? I'd hope not, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him in there.
I don't think it's hard to say Luis Diaz has been a top 10 player. I mean, the stats prove it, the moments, the goals that he's been scoring, the fact that you're getting that return of the clinical, offensive, high-powered Bayern offense, and he's kind of re-brought that back to this Bayern team alongside the other talents as well. So it's not crazy to say that he's brought the things there. I'm gonna agree with a little bit with Aritra said, and I think Kieran said too. I think the offense is just too much. I do think Bayern will probably leak 2 goals in this whole tie. I think Atlanta get at least 1 goal, but I think Bayern win like 3-1 that first game, and then I think they close up shop in the second game and win like what, another 3-0 or 2-1. I'd say like I'd say Atlanta. I think Bayern win 3-0. I think they score 3 goals in each game. I think minimum 3 goals. And like you guys said, I mean Dortmund leaked goals against this Atalanta team. They're seventh in the league. They've conceded like 26 goals and they're seventh in there. But this Bayern offense is just too much for this team specifically. So I will say, I think from the panel, I'll start it off, and then Isaac, you can end it off. I will say Bayern wins. I'm gonna say 6-3. I'm at 6-2 on aggregate. 6-2 on aggregate. Aricha? Oh, you're muted, my brother.
Oh, apologies. Bayern 7-1 aggregate.
7-1. Okay. Kieran?
I'll go Bayern winning 5-1 on aggregate.
Okay.
I was split between 6-2 and 7-1. I'll go 6-2.
6-2? All right. I said 6-1. Okay, cool. Before we move on to the second part, which will be Wednesday's games, as always, please go out and follow our YouTube accounts, our TikTok, our Instagram, and then listen to us on Spotify as well. Thank you to our listeners out there. But please continue following, liking, commenting, sharing everything. We really appreciate all the support and love that you've been giving us throughout these last few days as well and weeks with the content that we produce. And we hope to do more. But now going back into Champions League, let's do Leverkusen versus Arsenal. I know Isaac is not here right now. He'll be right back soon. But I think for us Prem guys, I think we do. Well, for the Premier League guys, more so Kieran and Aritra, I think we are favoring in Arsenal, correct, to win this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I just think that Arsenal defense is probably not going to let the Leverkusen attack score many goals, if any. And Arsenal has like many options that they can use to like score, like whether it's the set pieces off corners, a free kick from Declan Rice, or even like some tap-ins from Gyökeres, from Martinelli, like whoever is there to score those goals. But I think like Arsenal should have them, and also they get the second leg at the Emirates Stadium, so it should be a comfortable win for the most part for Arsenal. Yeah, I don't really see Leverkusen doing much here either.
Interestingly enough, I think Arsenal will win this tie across the 2 legs. I don't want to say it's the best case for an upset, but I think Leverkusen will maybe make this game closer than we expect. I agree. I think Arsenal are probably one of the best teams in Europe. They're right up there with Bayern in terms of scoring goals, keeping lots of clean sheets, having great depth. But it's like Isaac said, Leverkusen, top 5 defense in Germany, top 5 offense in Germany. I think they make this closer than we expect. I think it'll be like 2-0 Arsenal or 3-1 Arsenal across 2 legs. I think Leverkusen could give them a good run for their money.
Isaac?
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I mean, I agree. Thank you. Sorry. As Kieran put in our group chat, the Bathroom Derby is winning today.
Derby, man.
Thank you.
I won, though. Mine took longer, I will say.
Are we okay? Do you want me
Let's talk about Arsenal Leverkusen. Thank you.
Yeah, back to that. I don't know how to respond to that. I agree. I think Kieran said everything I would wanted to say. I think I was the one that I've been brought up a few weeks ago with their defensive record. It's again similar to Kieran. I'm still going to take Arsenal. I think it's another one where over 2 legs. How can you not favor the side that just has a lot more for them going forward? I'm interested. I would like for this to be my hot take. I just think Arsenal's quality is too good to see them through over the course of 2 legs. But yeah, like Kieran said, if I see Leverkusen gets through out of this matchup, it would not shock me.
Yeah. I think you guys. I'm in agreement with all of you. It's not going to be this easy tie as we think it will be, or the majority of people think. I will say for that first game, I think it's gonna end like a 2-2 or 1-1 draw. Like it's gonna end in a draw. Like I think Leverkusen are gonna score. Because the first game is it at the Emirates?
No,
No,
it's
it's in
a,
Leverkusen.
It's in Leverkusen. Yeah, I think it's gonna end like a 2-2 draw. But I do think once they get back to the Emirates, the energy, the environment, okay, we learned from the first game. Time to wake up now. Let's react. Take care of business in the second leg at the Emirates. So I'm gonna say Arsenal. So I guess Arsenal is my prediction. But for the panel, I go with Arsenal to go through and win 4-1 aggregate, with the first game being like a 2-2 or 1-1 draw. And then in the second game, I think Arsenal close up the shop, hit some set pieces, counterattacks, whatever it may be, and win like 2-0. So 4-2 aggregate.
I'll go 5-1 on aggregate for Arsenal.
I'll go Arsenal winning 3-1 in aggregate. The first game's going to be a draw. I think Alex Grimaldo is going to score for Leverkusen. I think in the second leg, Arsenal will score 2 set-piece goals and win 2-0 in the second leg.
Yeah. I was thinking like a 2-0 aggregate win for Arsenal, but it'll most likely be 3-1. I'll give Leverkusen one. Probably Patrick Schick is going to probably score one. And then the other goals for Arsenal, yeah, it could be a combo of like set pieces and a penalty or a free kick or something like that.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next one, and I think these next 3 are gonna be like these are one of the must watches, I guess, even though they're not big names. But we got Bodo Glimt versus Sporting, which is got me mad because I wanted Sporting. I wanted Sporting. This should have been ours. This should have been ours. This should have been ours. We should have been on this side of the bracket, competing and getting a rematch with Arsenal, and potentially facing up against Barca or Atleti in the semis. But oh well, we can't have everything. We got to go through PSG, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, just and Bayern potentially too. So what we do. But what are we thinking here, boys? I know Bodo Glimt, man. Bodo, man. Bodo has been the fairy tale team, the Cinderella story of this Champions League season. We've praised about them. Aricha said it the best with Norway. They're representing the Norwegian team in a way, the Norwegian league, the players. There's a lot on the line here. They go through. Norwegian football just goes. They have some talent in there. I forgot who the main star is, who has their most goals. I don't know his name because obviously I don't follow Bodo Glimt that much. This is where I want the panel to help me out here. I don't know how Sporting are doing in their league too, but based on, I guess, names, they should be the favorites based on name. But I'm going to start off by here saying I think Bodo Glimt are going to go through. I feel the Cinderella story continuing. But before I actually, you know what? I think I'm going to be the smart man and just look at where Sporting are at in their table, because maybe I will be doing they're second in the league, right behind Porto. They do score goals, but I don't know. It's the Portuguese league, so should we take that into consideration too? I'm just gonna, you know what? Both of them are gonna continue. They're gonna go through. Why not? They're gonna continue. I'm not gonna end on this team yet. I think they're gonna continue. Their offense is just too much. I think that offense has been one of the best in Europe so far. Just for the moments that they've delivered in this Champions League round, in this Champions League season. So I think that's what's gonna get them through. The fact that they're clinical, they're efficient. Yeah, Isaac, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm interested in this one. I think similar to you and maybe Kieran and Aricha, I can't speak for them, but I haven't. These are two teams I haven't watched a lot of. I think I've seen Bodo Glimt and I've watched their story from afar, and I think Sporting is always just kind of Sporting. Although I did see today, Jeff, shout out, former, I believe, La Liga striker Luis Suarez had signed for them, I think, for 20 something or 22 mil for this year. He's got 31 goals and 6 assists in 39 games this year. So they've got their Gyökeres replacement. So they, like you said, you talk about the goals. This is a team that's firing on all cylinders. It seems, at least from an offensive standpoint, for Sporting. I think there I have to just trust the quality, though, of opponent that Bodo Glimt has played. Not only for the sole fact that they've been able to go in and get results against some top sides, they've also been able to play good defensive football at moments against those sides as well. So yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not like they're winning every game in a 6-5 margin, and they need to score these goals to get through. Even you look at that Inter draw, they just got 2 good results against Inter. Some luck on their way, a mix of also then like I think you also create your own luck if that makes sense as well. I'm going to just go off of the back that Bodo Glimt's play. I'm going to take them through. It would not shock me if this is another high score, or maybe say Suarez goes through and has another. I think he has like 4 goals in 8 games in the Champions League. It would not shock me if maybe he has a hat trick over the 2 legs, or even in one of these games. I mean, was it Rui Silva at net? Is it just another like not legend of the sport, but I think he's another one that's been around for so long, has so much experience. This is a good side. You got to mix some quality prospects back there as well. I'm still taking Bodo Glimt, but this is going to be. I think, like Jeff had said, this is going to be a very fun matchup to watch between both sides.
Yeah. Shout out to the Suarez mentioned too. I will say too, just for the other members too, there are if you look at the side here, they are unbeaten. Sporting are unbeaten in 12 matches. They have conceded 8 in their last 10, and their last league defeat since December came at Bayern Munich in the Champions League. So it looks like they're an offensive power team.
I mean, and you see they beat PSG as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, but the question is, have they done it on a cold, frosty night in Norway?
You're right.
And
where
I
are they?
guess wait, go ahead.
Where are they for this? Are they in Norway for this first leg?
Yeah, it's in Bodo in the first one.
Yeah.
Let's time to look at the weather.
You know what? Wait, yeah. Can you tell me what the weather is going to be like before I make my prediction? I mean, I have something in mind, but say it's like snowing. Then what? For these Portuguese players?
This would be Tuesday, correct? Oh, no, they're Wednesday.
No, it'd be Wednesday.
It'd be Wednesday. I'm
It
looking
could
at it
snow.
right now.
There's like 50% chance, at least it looks like, a precipitation on for Bodo Norway on that day. So we could see some.
Yeah.
It is going to be like 49 degrees near 50 though. We're getting into this. We're getting into springtime.
Yeah, we are getting into springtime. I don't know.
Okay, so it's going to be warmer.
Yeah.
Well, it still won't change my mind because I mean, I think from all the 8 matches, this one will probably be like a 50-50 at least for me. But yeah, I went against the Cinderella run last time. I won't make that mistake. And if it does end here, so be it. It was still awesome to see them perform the way they did. So I'm going to run with Bodo here. Probably going to be like a 5-3 aggregate, in my opinion, in my prediction.
Yeah, I think this could be a very entertaining tie. It could be like a very sleeper pick, but I think Bodo are going to continue it. I think they will beat Sporting. I think one of the biggest compliments I can give Bodo is that they can win in multiple ways. You see the way they play at home, where they control games, play in a very fluid 4-3-3, play some pretty good football, have a very good offensive scheme. But you look at the way they played away at Inter and how compact they were defensively, they can win in multiple different ways, which is arguably one of the biggest traits you need to have a good Champions League run. Now, I'm not disrespecting Sporting. They have some good players. I think Suarez, I think Trincao, a very good winger. I like Hjulmand, very solid number 6. But I think Bodo Glimt have the momentum. They have a lot more rest because I think their league ended, before the winter. So they're going to be, you think, more fresh or refreshed than Sporting. I think Bodo keep it up. If they can beat Inter, if they can beat Atletico and City, I think they can beat Sporting.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm in complete agreement with all these. So final save for my part as well, because I did want to add it, because I feel like we are maybe possibly disrespecting Sporting. I don't want to. I understand that you have the talent, you have the names as well. But I just need, and like Kieran said, I think my final prediction will be Bodo. I already said it, but I'm just reiterating it again, just because I don't want to disrespect Sporting. For any Sporting fans listening out there, we're not. But it's the momentum, and I just feel like in that first leg at Norway, I think they're gonna get like a 3-2 win, and then I think once they go into Portugal, I think they're gonna close up shop again, and I think it's gonna be like a 2-2 draw. I think, and Bodo are gonna go through. So I think final prediction will be like 5-4 on aggregate, pretty much. If I'm not mistaken, 5-4 in aggregate for Bodo Glimt, if I'm doing my math correct.
I'll go Bodo 4-3.
4-3. All right.
I'll go Bodo 4-2. I could see it being like Inter, where they concede in both games, but because of how good their attack is, they can just outscore Sporting. So I'll go 4-2 across the 2 legs.
I'll finish it up with 5-3 Bodo.
Bodo, okay. Yeah, we're rooting for you, Bodo. Just saying, because we love Cinderella stories out here on the Out and Loan podcast.
If they
Next
lose-
matchup we got. Oh, sorry. What you saying, Isaac?
I said if they lose, it's our fault for finally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might
Honestly.
be my fault because last time I won with Inter.
I didn't want to mention that, but yeah, we'll blame Aricha. Someone's got to take the blame here.
Whoa, okay.
Damn.
Get it, man. I'm loving you, bro. Next matchup. This is one of my key matchups too. Besides, obviously, not for my team. I am so interested for this
A little rematch from the Club World Cup final,
rematch from the Club World Cup final.
but 2 legs at each other's homes. Not
Yep,
in
I
a
think-
blistering American heat.
First leg is at the Parc des Princes. Second leg at Stamford Bridge.
Mm.
You PSG fans, this is it for you, man. This is it. It's done. My prediction is here, man. PSG are gonna get knocked out. Knocked out. Chelsea have been coming into great form, specifically this man right here, who I think just got back from scoring a hat trick. I think against Aston Villa. And obviously the killer himself in this guy right here who just loves to turn up in these like games. And this is one of those games, man. I'm looking at you, Mr. Palmer. I'm looking at you, Mr. Neto. I'm looking at you, Mr. Cucurella, to prove me right and show PSG why they have not been as good this year because they've been defensively so awful. And I said offensive, defensive. I don't remember what I just said, but either way, it doesn't matter. Both sides of the ball, it's just been awful. And I think Chelsea are going to pull through. I think in the first game at PSG, I think PSG get like a draw. But I think at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea.
I'll follow it up with, just agreeing with a lot of the sentiments that you said. I'm also taking Chelsea in this. A lot of the reason has obviously been the recent form, I think, for both sides. Just flat out, PSG have not been good by their standards this year. I mean, they're going to be coming off a 3-1 loss against Monaco, which I'm also, there's a lot of topic. I'm really mad at Monaco because obviously, if you remember, I picked them to go through. So they're just going to beat them both times in the league. But when it comes to the Champions League, they're going to fall apart, which, like, okay, fine, it's whatever. That's football for you. Yeah, this is not a PSG I have a lot of confidence in over the course of 90 minutes, let alone add the fact that you got to do it twice over the 90 minutes. João Pedro, you mentioned it. Third best striker in the world right now behind Kane and Holland right now in form, question mark, but I don't know. I might put him in there.
Sheshko exists.
Okay, sure. We can talk. I'll agree with the guy in the comment section. He needs to not ghost for 90 minutes in a league game, and then I'll start talking about him as top three striker.
Come on.
I know he wasn't getting the service to Kieran's point. I'm not trying to, but hey, we're gonna bring up Dominic Sheshko. I got at least I gotta laugh at least a little bit in my head. But no, I agree. I think their weakness is going to come from a stupid moment. Like you bring up Neto, your Cucurella. Like this is a Chelsea squad that I think is fully capable of making the mistakes necessary to lose this matchup. But I also think they have the quality to get through. I think even James has been good in defense. I don't know how he's been specifically as a center back, but I know he was getting thrown a lot back in right back conversations in the Prem. And I also thought that was crazy, but also looking into it, I could see why off of even just coming off an injury for this year. I believe, and then to step in and be so good. I think we talked about Caicedo. I know I've had my hot take over him, but Caicedo is still a top, the 4th best CDM in the world. If I'm going to keep my Pavlo agenda, this is just a good Chelsea team. And as Jeff had said, they're coming into form. Over 2 legs, I see them taking care of PSG.
I'm going to go with PSG. I'm not going to lie. I have that feeling that, I don't know, I just don't trust Chelsea fully. I know they've looked better under Lemar Sr. I know they can score goals. They're capable of that. I just don't trust their defense. I know we criticize PSG in their defense, but I don't trust Chelsea's defense. Like, you have Fofana, Chalobah, or Tosin and Badiashile. I don't trust those defenders against PSG's attack. I know PSG have injuries, but they still have quality players. I know we talked about PSG's goalie, Chevalier. I also consider the same thing for Robert Sanchez, where I don't trust him fully. I feel like he is capable of making a mistake. I also just on the experience point, PSG I know they're a young team, but they seem more experienced than Chelsea. They have a way more experienced head coach than Chelsea. And the final point is I think PSG are going to have the motivation. They know they got destroyed by Chelsea in America in July. I think PSG want to get their revenge on Chelsea. I think PSG win in a shootout. I'll go 4-3 across 2 legs. I think that could really cause Chelsea's defense problems.
I 110% agree with everything that Kieran said. Because, I mean, when you, as in Jeff and Isaac, were speaking about it, I'm like, man, these dudes probably haven't watched Chelsea in the Prem, bro. Because, like, they're so inconsistent. And also, the amount of red cards that this team also gets, in addition to, like, Tottenham, is, like, crazy. I feel like someone is also probably going to do something stupid in this game, or across, like, one of the two legs. And it's just gonna like cause havoc. So I'm also gonna have to side with PSG here, and like Kieran said, they're probably gonna look for blood after losing out on what could have been an absolute perfect season for them. What would have been like that would have been their sixth or seventh trophy like in that season, and they missed out on that. So they get two chances to like beat this team. The Chelsea team also is not managed under Enzo Maresca either, and Liam Rosenior unfortunately got outmanaged by Mikel Arteta in the EFL Cup. So I think this one, like, it's still going to be like a very tight game. Both legs are going to be very competitive, but I think PSG edges this one.
Yeah, this is interesting. I gotta to make this segment a little bit more interesting. I'll refute some of the form stuff you guys mentioned. We literally just took Bodo Glimt over Inter, and I think we would have all said Inter had a lot better form, had a lot better all that heading into that. And you talk about the quality of opponents and all that stuff, and Bodo demolished them over two legs. We talk about the inconsistencies. I think PSG's been more inconsistent in their own league.
I thought I was going to say too,
much
man.
easier. We talk about the Premier League. Like PSG's not even first in their league. Like we do know that, right? This is like we want to talk about.
They are first. They
are first now. Okay, good.
But I will say they have been very consistent because I think Lens are right behind them with 1 point. So
yeah, and Lens has been leading. I think
it's not like the PSG of last year that was just storming through the league because they've been dropping points here and there. I don't even think Dembele. I haven't seen. I don't know what's his injury status like. I think he will. I'm not sure of his status yet. But even if he's healthy or not, that's the question mark. We don't know what his status is going to be in that game.
Also, as you mentioned, like, yes, they're going to be hungry. They're going to be out for blood because of the matchup. But this is also, granted, the players are the same, but this is a different Chelsea team. Like, Rossini's a new manager. They're going to play a different way. There's going to be new things that they're going to have to adjust for. I know they've obviously been scouting them and all that sort of stuff at a time. But, like, I'm going to trust more the Chelsea players that have beaten a PSG squad with this same manager in this year versus the PSG squad that now needs to go in and beat a new Chelsea team, especially in a new form. And, I mean, yeah, I know they've been shakier in the league, but, like, I watched the PSG game versus Barca. They were versus Bayern. They were not on their ball. They were getting stupid red cards. They were having stupid fouls. If it wasn't for Luis Diaz, I think kind of getting some getbacks for Bayern, like we would have been up a man on them for that entire game as well. Like this is also a PSG squad that I think just does not have any of that. And again, that's more, I think, like Chelsea, you say a lot of similar things. I think this is why this is such a good matchup because at the end of the day, it can go either way. I know we're having this sort of debate right now, but like, again, I think it's fair to say for all four of us, whichever team gets through, it's not going to shock us if they get through, barring it being maybe like a blowout. But I mean, I definitely agree. Like, I think there's a lot of reasons why PSG could win this game, but I don't know. I think like for that kind of stuff, I think Chelsea's got them beat in sort of their weaknesses versus I think PSG with their weaknesses. If that makes sense.
I will add on to the fact too. A lot of the conversations about inconsistencies, which I do use, I will also add on to this too. And I know I've said this for PSG and a lot of teams too. I do think inconsistency in the league, you can just throw it out the park too, because I think Champions League and league play is just so different. Now, you can add that to the fact with like mentality issues and stuff like that, which is fair. But I think in terms of overall form, I think league play and inconsistencies, it doesn't matter because all you got to know as a team, which I think a lot of them know, is this is a Champions League game. Let's give it our all. But if you don't have the players or the talents to pull it off in these moments or games, then you're not going to get through. So I think for me, I'm just going to stick to my pick, PSG. After hearing all your arguments, PSG still. Oh my God. Chelsea beat PSG.
I was gonna say, change your mind.
No, hell. Chelsea to win, and I think it's gonna be like 6-3. I think I said 6-3 or 6-4 in aggregate. Chelsea 6-4 in aggregate.
Oh, what the heck, Jeff? Go 6-3. Okay, I was gonna say I'll go 6-4 Chelsea as well.
Fine, I'll say 6-3.
Let's go.
I'm gonna stick with PSG. I'm gonna go 4-3.
I'll say 5-3 PSG.
5-3 PSG. All right. I can't wait for this one, man. So
like the only one we haven't all agreed.
Yeah, honestly, I thought we were gonna be like split up from the Bodo Sporting one, but I guess since we love the Cinderella story so much, like we went with the underdog again. But
it's literally March. How can we not root for the Cinderella run?
Yeah, you know what? You got a point. You got a point.
All right. The big matchup.
Here we are, baby.
Here we are again. You know what, boys? You know what's funny? I think yesterday I would have said, I don't care, man. Just knock us out. Put us out of our misery. No Mbappe, no Jude. We don't know what our defense is going to look like. But then something happened this day today. I don't know if it's the potential of spring coming in and it's just Champions League season and I'm this delusional Madrid fan. But I, for some reason, just feel a little bit more positive about this game. Or this tie, I should say. I don't know what it is. I know we played like ass on Friday against this poor Celta de Vigo team. It took like a controversial game winner from Fede Valverde. Our midfield is just not that great. Our defense is just hit or miss with Trent or Raul Asensio. But I just have this feeling in my heart that I have this feeling that just got into me that I'm confident for this first leg. And I'm confident to the fact that I'm confident we can pull this off. I don't know why it's delusion hitting me, but it's Champions League. You know what I'm saying? I might look stupid. We might lose 4-3, 3-0 on the first game, and then we have to go to Etihad and get smoked like 3-0, 2-0. But I just have this feeling Madrid are going to pull it off in the first leg. I don't know how. I can't explain it to you. I'm kind of getting flashbacks to the Arsenal second leg where like the delusion kicks in where like you know you can't do it, but like you just feel like there's a moment that can happen. That's probably going to be our lineup too, honestly. I did hear rumors that if for any of our listeners on Spotify, I do have the potential lineups pulled up here. I did hear rumors that with Mendy coming back, you could potentially see Carreras pulled up to the left mid spot or into midfield, and then you have Vinny and Garcia as like your two main options. I don't know, like, and you also have the potential of Camavinga coming back, so that idea of having Carreras pulled up, just go full defense and just counterattack with pace. I don't know any lineup that Madrid puts out. I know their standards. I can't rage about it anymore. I know they're not that great. Even with this lineup, we might not win we're not going to win the Champions League. I know that for a fact. But against a City team that isn't that great defensively, and honestly, their offense has just been, I don't know, they haven't been that great as I think they were. It's just, I more so look at how bad our defense has been, mainly with these two right here, these two bozos over here this season. And then this guy, we don't know what we're going to see from him defensively. But the counter to that is I do think offensively we're going to score some goals. I'm just confident that Big Seven is going to get me something into this leg. He has a point to prove, and I think this guy right here has heard the chatter, and I think he will lock it up defensively. And I think with the pace that we have, the form that Tchouameni's been on, you have this demon over here that can just save you 3 goals throughout an entire leg. I'm going to go delusional, and I'm going to go for Madrid narrow stuff, like 2-1, 3-1 win. Or 3-2, like 2-1 win or a 3-2 win. How about that? And in the second leg, I think we're gonna do the same thing we did in 2024. We're gonna go hella deep. It's gonna be same thing as 2024. We might go to another penalty shootout, or we might just survive and just get out with like a 3-2 or a 4-3 aggregate win. I'm gonna go delusional here because I have to. I'm gonna ride or die with my team, even though they've been so ass and they've made me so mad this year. And this might be the end of our season here and there. But that's what makes the beauty of the Champions League. I'm going to go out. Madrid win 4-3 on aggregate. But that second leg at the Etihad, I don't know, man. I'm going to be... I feel it. I can already imagine it. I can already see it. But go ahead. Put me back to reality, boys.
No, Jeff, I think you're actually going to like what I have to say. I'm going to have a weird transition for that. So, I love doing this podcast. This is my first reference to them today. I'm a huge Buffalo Sabres fan. Huge run. Today, right now, officially, they are in first place. They'll be hopefully breaking their 14-year playoff drought. The reason I mentioned that, they just played I was keeping up with it on my phone, arguably the best game of hockey this year. They just beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are ahead of them to go into first. The score was 3-0 Sabres, then 3-1, then 4-1, then it was 4-4. Then it was 6-4. Then the Sabres. Then it goes to 7-5, and then at 7-6 they score 2 late goals to come back, all in the span of like this. Literally, actually, this podcast game started at like 6. That's probably the game of the year so far for the NHL. And I think I mentioned that because I think we're going to be getting the game, or at least the matchup of the entire Champions League in these next two. I think these two games between Madrid and Madrid and City are going to be two of the most entertaining games. I think the most entertaining matchup, I think, between any team, arguably, we're going to see, outside of maybe if we get an Arsenal Barca in a semifinals. There's too much quality in this Madrid side to not keep this close. And I think that, as Jeff brings up, the closeness is a very important thing for this game. Logistically, betting odds, by all logic, you're going City in this matchup. But again, you mentioned the Vinicius, maybe even a Mendy coming back, forcing Carreras to go up. You have Valverde, you have Trent, who also knows how to play against that City side. You have Courtois. When you have a goalie that resilient, that can win you games, that's a huge asset. Not that City don't have that as well. But yeah, I just see some Madrid magic, if I'm going to be honest. This is another one where it's a Champions League tournament. I think a week ago or two, I would have come on here and said that City were going to probably beat them 8-2 on aggregate, or 10-1 or something like that on aggregate.
It's the Madrid aura, bro. It's the Madrid aura. I feel it. I feel it.
As a Bayern fan, we joked about it with the refereeing and all that sort of stuff. But even recently, I've watched too many Madrid Champions League games where I've been like, they're going to lose. They're not good enough. They can't do this. And I've had that's bitten me in the butt quite a lot of times. I was trying to find the way to articulate that so I didn't say something crazy on this stream or on this episode. Yeah, I got it. This is my least rational take. All these other ones I think I've tried to come at with some logic, their form. I have no reason. City should dominate this game over two legs. They've been the better team. They had more talent. Even Holland, which is a little bit of a downturn for his standards. I think he could totally come up with 4 goals and kind of get his season back on track against this Madrid squad. But nah, because I don't want to speak for Kieran and Enrique, but I think they might be thinking a little bit more logical here and might go in City. I want to make these picks a little bit more interesting. I want to trust my gut here. Come on, we got to have that Bayern. As much as I would hate it because of the refereeing, I want that Bayern Madrid matchup.
I want that Bayern matchup.
I think if you're a fan of football, you want a Bayern Madrid matchup over a Bayern City matchup.
Yeah.
I'm going Man City. I'm not going Man City. Sorry, I'm going Man City to lose over these two games. I'm going.
Yeah. Dude, our chemistry. The first start of the episode, from bantering me with the referee decisions to us disagreeing on a lot of these things, I give you a high five to that, my brother. That's why I love you, man. All right, put us back to reality now. Enrique and Kieran, unless you're falling for the delusion too.
Are they sipping the Kool-Aid as well?
Go ahead, Kieran.
I gotta go Man City. That's my feeling. I'm not doubting Madrid. I know you guys have great history in the competition. Even when you're not at your best, you've still beaten City. I think 2023, 2024. But I think City are looking better now. I don't know. I wouldn't say this is prime City from 2022. But I think since the start of the new year, they've gotten a lot better. I think signing Semenyo and Gay has helped. I think that's a testament to their depth, where they can bring in those kind of players off the bench. Also, Madrid's defense, it's been ravaged by injury, but it's just, like Jeff said, they haven't had a consistent, reliable defense. It's often been Thibaut Courtois bailing them out. And I honestly think this City attack could really cause them problems. I know Holland has not been great, but he's still capable of turning up. Ryan Shirky is getting better. He's looking really good. Antoine Semenyo has been really, really good for City. If Rodri stays fit, I think he can cause problems. That's a huge if, I know. I just think City have too much quality and depth, to be honest with you. But I will say, I think the first leg will be a draw, maybe a 1-1 draw. But I think City's attack is going to be too much for Madrid in the second leg.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think so far from the predictions I've said, I was thinking of in the span of 90 minutes for the second leg for both games as well. I think this is the one where we get a result in extra time. I don't think it's going to go to penalty shootouts, but maybe it could. It very well could. And it will be at Etihad as well. And if you asked me a week ago, I would have been like, dude, Rodrigo's coming back. You have Mbappe on the squad. I know it hasn't been the best season for Madrid, but I think they can pull it off because it's Real Madrid. It's the winningest team on this competition. They're going to do whatever it takes, whether it's playing the game or doing some voodoo magic on the side in the tunnel to somehow get a winning result. With Rodrigo being ruled out and now Mbappe with the knee injury, I think City will win this. But again, I think it's going to be close. I will not be surprised if Madrid does pull through, as I wasn't surprised back in 2024. 2023, 2022, 2021, 22, whatever, however long this team has been playing against each other in the quarters, semis, whatever. I think like they'll pull off a result here, but I think for this two legs, maybe Real Madrid wins the first game 2-1, but then like Man City wins it like 3-2 or something. So, yeah, I unfortunately gotta go with City here, even though I was probably gonna go with Madrid like a week ago.
Yeah, see, for all you fans like that are probably gonna listen, it's like this guy is so delicious. Like you gotta understand. I think from our experiences of watching this sport, Madrid is just that one team that I'm being serious. You cannot count out. They can play the worst football of their entire lives. I've seen it at the Etihad, but they just have the moments where like they just flip a switch. Like they literally have that. And I still think this roster is weak. I don't trust Arda Güler. I don't trust Tchouaméni consistently, or Camavinga, or Thiago Pritchard, my star, and Rudiger, and Asensio, and Vinny, and Gonzalo Garcia. But this is the Champions League. Form doesn't matter. All you got to do is turn up. Who's to say an Asensio can't turn up this game and just completely lock it down as he did a few years ago? I mean, or last season, I should say. Or Rudiger just turns it back. Or Trent just gives out the best ball and Vinny just gets a goal in like a minute and we just close shop for like the next 30. Like, that's why I'm that delusional right now, because I'm like, they can do it. And I think the last few games where I have a problem with this team in the league is the fact that I know they can turn up. I know they have the talent, but it's sometimes in here where I'm like, can you be better? Yes, we are missing a profile in a controller. Yes, we are missing that. But who's to say Tchouaméni doesn't do it in that game, or we just find a win, which we don't need that. We just say, hey, let's just close it up, and we're going to hit them on the break, because that's what Trent's going to do for our team. And what if everyone turns up? They start running. They start pressing. They give that energy. They start dying on the pitch. They start moving the ball quicker. As I've said this millions of times. I feel like they're going to do that for that first game. Now, the question will be defensively. How will they turn up defensively? How will they be in that game? Which is why I'm going to hold faith on the fact that what I said earlier in the season, Rudiger, can you just give me one good month? One good month before potentially Militao and Dean Howson comes back. I said to you, I have faith that maybe for once in your damn life you just pay attention and you aren't reckless. Just for one game. And this is going to be the decider, I think. Because if we get smoked out like 2-0, 3-0, that's wraps. There's no way we go to that. But I'm confident that we're going to get a good result here at the Bernabeu. We're going to win 2-1, 3-1. And then City just makes the comeback and they win 4-3 in aggregate. But I wouldn't be surprised if we go to penalties once again. And we win on penalties because we got Thibaut Courtois. So panel says for me, Madrid go through. Me being delusional as I am and energetic and excited as I am, we're going to win 4-3 in aggregate, or go 4-4 and we're going to go to penalties and win it.
I like Aretha's mention of going into extra time for that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to do the meme. I think Madrid get through 7-6. You know what? I'm not going to say it. 7-6.
Okay. I will go with Man City going through 5-3 in aggregate.
I'm going 5-4 Man City, and I think we will have extra time for this football game, but probably not penalties.
Yeah.
But okay, honestly, it is an interesting question. Like, what happens if it does go to penalty? Because I think I trust Madrid more than City to win, but I'm gonna assume this game doesn't go to penalties. I think it ends in extra time. Probably like Ryan Cherky like scores the winning goal or something, and that's that.
We did mention goalkeepers too. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna add this on the fact too. Man City does have a player like that. I forgot with Donnarumma, who I've praised so many times on PSG. So maybe there, I'm like, ooh, I forgot about Donnarumma. I forgot that they have him. So even if they're so bad defensively, we know that guy can turn up in the Champions League. But it's Madrid Magic, man. But if they go to penalties, oof, I don't know, man. I think that's gonna be like another even the penalty shootout we go through is gonna be narrow as hell. But that's a big one.
Who's the better goalie there? Who are you taking him? If you had a choice, one goalie between Courtois and Donnarumma for pens, who are you taking?
I think Donnarumma.
Yeah, I would take Donnarumma. He's got the Champions League and Euros.
I'm trying to think, like, has Courtois? I think Courtois has done it for like Belgium, like in a knockout. You know, what I mean, like I think has done it in a World Cup or a Euros. I could be wrong. Like I don't know off the top of my head. I know Donnarumma obviously has, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't know because like you said, in extra time, like. Ooh, I don't know who you're taking there.
Yeah, no, the one penalty shootout that I don't think Courtois has been in that many, because the one that we were with against City, it was Lunin actually. So who knows? Maybe they bring in Lunin for that specific reason. Like, no, bring him in
what about the Atletico one? What about the Atletico one from last year? Was that not Courtois?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But that
the one where Alvarez had that
the double touch, but
Yeah.
a lot of them I think was the double touch that
yeah.
threw them over and the misses too. But I think it was
Mm.
like over the bar or whatever it may be.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'd still think Donnarumma, but that doesn't mean I think Donnarumma is better than.
He's been in a decent bit. I'm trying to think. He's had like what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 penalty shootouts for Courtois, and he's won all but 3, I think. Oh wait, no, this is just penalties. It might just be penalties, but it's because it goes back to his like Dutch league stats when he's in like the Jupiter Pro League. But he's definitely like had some. He's he's gone against Messi, like he's had some in the World Cup. So I think he saved like 3 penalties in the 2018 Belgium run, I want to say. So like he has been good in penalties. Now, granted, that's different than the shootout, but so there's a little bit there.
It's just a shootout. The shootout I think is just a complete different game because that's just mind games. It's like how do you prepare it? How do you approach this? I think it's a different game. Like we saw in when the Netherlands, remember they brought in who was it? Tim Krul that they brought in over Sillissen?
Yeah, but I still think like the goalie is still learning. Like even if it's in game, he still has to like know how to read a player, read their body, and know. Like I think that stuff is still applicable. I mean, yes, the pressure is more there. I think the shootout
because you still have the game to play even during that penalty shootout in the game. But that penalty shootout, it's like you need to save one. Like that's the added pressure, I guess, or mentality that you have to have. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd probably favor the penalty shootout Donnarumma, but again, I think it's who misses, who wins, and I think the aura, our aura is just gonna actually carry us. I would not be surprised. But I think before we close it off real quickly, I did say that I did want to do I think we'll do this real quick to end off the show. Like literally, just give out your names. I know it's a round of 16, so I'm just curious to end it off on the show here. What is your most memorable, or you think the greatest UCL round of 16 tie that you've seen throughout your time?
Oh, it's got to be my lifetime I've seen, or can it just be any?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? What do you think is the greatest UCL tie?
I have greatest UCL. I don't know if I'm going to say definitively. Well, first one I'll say I think could objectively be the greatest. Jeff, it's for your team as well. It's the Ajax 4-1 over Madrid. I think in 2019 or 2018. Like that's just I think objectively one of the best round of 16 games that's ever happened, including the context of the situation. I think where those two teams have been, even Ten Hag's career afterwards makes that game I think so interesting. It's against Madrid. We're talking about Madrid being the team, like it's their aura. They can get it done. It doesn't matter how bad they're playing. Like that was one of those games where it was the exact opposite. It was like no matter what Madrid had, like this was the Cinderella run. Like there was going to be nothing stopping that team, except for Tottenham. I hate Tottenham. I will forever hate Tottenham because of the
Lucas Moura too. Of all
granted,
people,
they were
Lucas Moura
deserved to win that game. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they were robbed. I just hate that they won that game. I wanted Ajax in that final so bad. I'll go with an underrated one. Jeff, I feel like you know about this game. It's not a Madrid game, but it's Chelsea-Barcelona 2005. Barca will blow it. Chelsea will come back. They'll win their second matchup 4-2. They'll win 5-4 in aggregate. Goodhansen, Lampard, Duff, and Terry all scored. Ronaldinho scores 2 goals in that side. I think one of them's a pen. I want to say that is the tie-up where there was the whole like fight in the tunnels afterwards with one of them, like as well. There was some whole added context, but those two teams just hated each other. I think it was a young Mourinho mixed with now, obviously, with how his career's gone, like a young Mourinho against Barca. Like that's just, I mean, you look at some of the players on that you have, like that's John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, Makayele, Lampard, Duff, and I think this is Cole was their midfield. But even that Barca squad, you got Eto'o at forward, Ronaldinho, Iniesta was on the wing, Xavi, Gerrard, Deco. Poyle's on that team as well. Like Valdez is in net, so shout out for the United fans out there. Like that's just those are some good squads. That's I think a little bit underrated one. I think just because it hasn't aged in the forefront of people's minds. But those are two teams that hate each other, have a lot of history, and I mean you can never ask for a good little 4-goal comeback on a match day.
Kieran?
I mean, I think a basic pick has to be Barca beating PSG. Like that's where La Remontada came from. That was an insane comeback. What, they were down 4-0, 5-1, something like that, and they beat. I know that wasn't like the best PSG team of all time, but it's still insane to score that many goals in a game. I'll be a little biased when I say this. I think an underrated one is when United beat PSG in 2019. We were down 3-1 on aggregate. We were missing like 8, 9, I think maybe even 10 players through injury. We had like Tahith Chong, Angel Gomez, Eric Bailly on the pitch, like a bunch of just random dudes that never worked out for United. Yeah, we somehow beat PSG. Marcus Rashford scored that last-minute penalty. I know we didn't win it that year. We fizzed out in the quarterfinals, but that was a crazy comeback. How bad we were that season. We finished like, I think 5th or 6th, yet we still beat the champions of France. I think that's a pretty good tie.
Yeah, I was gonna go with that 2019 Man United one. Because it's just looking back, that was just such an insane game that we even like made a comeback at Paris against, and I'm pretty sure
Rashford, Little
Buffon.
Bro, and Mbappe. I love that
Yeah,
too.
I
Yeah,
have that
exactly.
picture. I saved
Exactly.
that one. Yeah,
and Buffon was the keeper for PSG, and he like
that's
just
right. Yeah,
thumped that penalty past him. Yeah, I was gonna go that one maybe. I know Madrid and United played a game back in 2003 where Ronaldo scored like a hat trick. I can't remember if that was a round of 16 or quarterfinal. And that would ultimately be David Beckham's last game in the Champions League with United, because then that summer he would join Madrid, and apparently it was in that game where Zidane allegedly tells Beckham like if he wants to come to Madrid, and lo and behold, 4 months later he was a Madridista with that Galacticos team. So that's another one in mind. But hey, you know what? I'll leave the quarterfinals because I have another pick for quarterfinals, but I'll leave that for
Yeah, we're gonna do one for quarterfinals too.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna do a few for quarterfinals. I guess for me, I think Kieran, you took my pick, so you know what? I'm gonna go the Isaac route and just give out my two underrated ones. I was gonna go for that Barca PSG. I don't think anything got me into hate watching Barca or like getting trolled more than that. I'll quick little story. I was in middle school. I was full. My friends were like full of Barca fans. I don't know if they're listening, but shout out to all you guys that I know from middle school. Everyone was like in class, like because this was like during like because it's West Coast time, so like the games would be from 12 to like 2, and we still had
Mhm.
class like 3. I'll never forget. I was in English class. We were in the table. I think I was like watching it on these illegal stream sites on my Chromebook. And when I saw Cavani score that banger, I thought this is it because there's no way Barca can score like another 3 to like overcome. Because at that time it was like the away aggregate too, the away goals. So I was like, there's no way. So when I left that room and I saw everyone jumping up and down as they left the classroom, because right as Barca got the game winner, like class ended or period, like period 5, our 5th period ended, I saw everyone just go up to me and just pick on me because I said there's no way they would make this comeback. So I think that's the greatest one. The Neymar moment, and then the things that transpired after that too was just kind of just chaotic. And then the controversies too. That's what a lot of people don't talk about for making it so great. The controversies, which I can't wait to do for our quarterfinals. But the two underrated ones I will end it off with here is I think for me it was that Tottenham versus Juve back in I believe 2018. It was the one where I think it was like it ended like 2-2 at the San Siro, at the oh my god I keep on saying the San Siro, Jesus Christ, at the Allianz Stadium. I think Higuain missed the penalty too. I'm just looking back on it. Higuain missed the penalty, and I think I think Eriksson scored a free kick, I believe, in that game too. And then the second game, which was at Wembley, like I remember, like every Tottenham fan. This was when Tottenham was like going up, So sorry, Kobe. And remember when Sun scored that goal? I literally thought they were gonna go through as I was watching on my laptop. So I was like, they're going through. Like they're gonna beat this Juve team. Like this is it. This is the start of something great. And then Dybala comes in and just wipes that out the door, and he had like proved the craziest like finishes that I've seen from a player at his position. So, and then the second one I think was the Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool one. That 4-2, the Morata celebration, the Simeone going to like the away end and just like trolling the fans. And then the Trent fight too. What was the keeper's name? Adrian Stinker. Like we're gonna remember that too for the rest of our lives. And then the Loriente double. Like Loriente literally made his career off of that, I think, run too. Like the 2 goals that he scored, the Morata celebration, the fight with Trent. God, the fact that everyone said it can happen at Anfield. Like we all thought Liverpool were gonna do it. Like they had the Madrid aura with the comeback and everything, and then it just got wiped out. And it ended with Simeone just doing that. I was so mad because obviously I'm not a big Atletico Madrid fan, but I'm not the fondest of Liverpool when they go over, when they start overreacting with things. So I was kind of like a little humble lesson for them right there. So those are my two: the Juve, 4-2, 4-3 win over Tottenham in 2018, and then the following year with Atletico Madrid 4-2 versus Liverpool, ending Liverpool's like reign to win and get the double. Back-to-back Champions League, and then just the shithousery that came right after too was just that was beautiful. That was perfect. But I think that's all I got for today's episode. Thank you again. I know we always say it's gonna be a short one, but we went overboard with this one. But hey, this is the
Almost
beauty of
done
the
2
Champions League.
hours.
This is the beauty of the Champions League where we just give our opinions, our hot takes, and everything. But thank you again, boys. Thank you for giving your opinions, your takes, and please, anybody in the comment section, give us your thoughts on our round of 16. What is your favorite round of 16 matchups, and then who's going through as well. Just put that in the comment section too. But that'll be all for today's episode. You're listening to the Out on Loan podcast by your host Jeff Nova. This was episode 29, and we can't wait to see you for the 30th episode as well, which I can't wait. But thank you again, boys, and have a good rest of your night.